Welcome to Five Boys in a Business podcast, episode 3. As you can see, I don't have the lovely Dr. Emily King with me today, but rather Harrison King, our oldest son.
Hello, everybody. I'm not as exciting as Dr. King, aka my mother, but I'm still here. I'll try to be as entertaining as possible. You can catch this podcast every Monday live on Facebook. We also have it recorded and put it onto YouTube. It's also on all podcast services. We have it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And if you have not already checked out our merch, you can get it in store or at asvcmerch.com. We have long sleeve shirts and t-shirts. The long sleeve shirts are poppin'. So they're very popular. So if you want to grab one of those, that would be perfect. And also, if you want to check out our other videos on Facebook and YouTube, that would be fantastic. We just recently actually had a Dr. King Says come out about blue algae.
Okay.
So blue algae is...
It's not really algae though, right?
It's cyanobacteria.
Got it.
So cyano, it's a whole thing. It's about blue algae. And if you've been off social media, blue algae has been taking the lives of... It's not funny, I shouldn't be laughing. Has been taking the lives of dogs and has been
not a good thing.
Not a good thing. It's been messing with, like, apparently when humans go into the pond or like wherever it is, like,
it's just skin irritation.
Yeah, it's skin irritation and intestinal
GI stuff.
Yeah. So it's a great video. It's about a minute and a half. Usually those are pretty short. So if you want to go check those out, that'd be great. So today, the first thing we're going to be talking about is the Peloton bike, because that's the most exciting thing going on in our lives right now.
It's been a busy week, very busy week.
It's the Peloton bike.
Going into Labor Day weekend, very busy week. We bought a Peloton, Emily and I did, and we have it up in our room, and it is legit.
It's up in your room?
It'll kill you.
Why is it up in your room, not in the garage?
Because it's like a lot of electronics. There's so much stuff in the garage. I want to be able to. Your mom wanted to be able to get out of bed and just ride. Ask me how many times she's done that so far.
So she gets out of bed and rides while you're still sleeping?
Yeah.
You wake up to...
How many times?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
0.
Just right.
No,
what are you doing?
It's so funny because I've seen her, and I've used it a bunch of times. You'll go up there and you'll sit and you can't hear anything because you have headphones on. It's being broadcast, it's all Bluetooth. So all you hear is somebody breathing heavy on the bike. That's it. A 25-minute workout, I mean, it's legit. It'll get your heart rate up and you sweat like crazy.
So for those that don't know, the Peloton bike is just this extremely unnecessary... hold on. Actually, I should preface this by saying I have no problem with Peloton. All right, you guys are doing something fantastic. Whatever.
They're about to go public.
But what?
They're about to go public.
What do you mean public?
Stock.
Oh.
Have an IPO.
But it's basically... The Peloton bike is basically a glorified...
No.
Yeah, a glorified like exercise item. And it's just like any other bike, but instead...
It's not.
It has a screen, and while also paying the couple grand for it, you also have to subscribe to a service to work out with others.
Yes.
In my mind, that should just come with the couple grand. That's stupid. That's like the Google Stadia right now. I'm not going to get into that, but...
No, it's cool because you do have people pushing you. I mean, anybody can get on a bike and ride.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool.
I always look at things from the back. I work backwards. I say, okay, if fitness is your goal, how are you going to get there? So if the money you spend on that particular intent gets you there, that's okay.
Right.
I mean, a high-end gym. I mean, when I used to belong to Iron Fit Boxing, it was $100 a month, and so. You can go to as many classes as you wanted, but it was $100 a month, so that's $1,200 a year.
I feel like
in a gym, I mean, like a gym membership for your mom and I is a solid $50, $60.
When I get a house, well, at some point in a house of mine, I want to get an in-home gym because I do not like going. I personally do not like going to the gym. I have a huge problem with like people that I don't know, like strangers, like working out with. I don't know. It's very bizarre. It's like
why.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't like going to a gym, and then I think it has all this stuff. I think it has to do with like being judged. I guess I don't want to.
No one's gonna judge you.
Yeah,
someone will judge this guy. Yes,
not
I know.
You. I get that, obviously, but there are. I'm too afraid of doing like an exercise wrong and people look at me like,
they don't care. I don't care.
I know, Dad, they don't care.
They don't. Most of the people that would judge don't know what they're doing.
I know, it's still in my mind though. So if I could just do it in the comfort of my own home, I would love that. I've talked to Natalie about that.
You would. The nice thing about going to the gym though is once you're there, you have to do it. So when I used to go to LA Fitness, I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to do the workout. It'll take me 45 minutes and I'm out. And that was the beauty of Iron Fit was that you'd go to the class. It was an hour long. And you were done for the day. Right. So now you have those goofballs that go in there and when your mom and I were in Toronto recently, we went and worked out one day at the gym, and these 3 dudes were on the free weights for like an hour and a half. I'm like, what are you doing?
Getting big?
Yeah, they weren't big. I'm like, you could have done that in 30 minutes. Come on, fellas. So anyway, point is that going to the gym is actually, I enjoy going to the gym because, like I say, once I'm there, they have everything I need. If I want to do something specialized in my workouts,
if you were to get a home gym, how much do you think that would cost? If you're getting weights and
probably a couple grand
for the entire thing.
I mean, the stuff that we have here, it was discount, but I mean, free weights aren't cheap. Although somebody like you, though, this is the thing, though. I mean, somebody like you, you're not going to be doing 80-pound. You don't need 80-pound dumbbells. I mean, You see what I'm saying? I mean, you can actually get those things that you could dial. The weights you dial in the weight, and it just what you need is what comes off the rack. Right. Those were popular.
I mean, I would want a bench press, and then like just free weights.
I found in my experience when I had home gyms like that I never use them. It's really hard to self-motivate.
I really feel like I would use it though.
Well, what you could do is always sign up for something like Anytime, and no one's. I mean, you go at 2 a.m. I mean, nobody's there. Yeah. I mean, LA Fitness.
That's another thing too. Is I'd like to work out like when nobody else is. If I was to do that, like Anytime Fitness would be perfect because I could go at like 11 at night. Nobody would be. I mean, if I go to a gym and there's like one person there, I'm not going to care. Like that's fine. But when there's like multiple people there, like 10, 15, 20, like I don't want to be there.
It's funny you mentioned that because I think it's probably a fairly common thing for young people to be very self-conscious, but I guess as you get older, you're like, we're all here for the same things to stay in shape or get in shape. Yeah. And so if you're judging me, then you got the problem, not me.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's any 20-year-old that judges me, I'm like, dude, I'm
because I didn't mind, like when I worked out at Garen, when I had like a strengthening and conditioning class, I didn't mind working out with everybody there because I knew everybody. But
yeah. But the more you go, and I guess it's interesting. I remember going to Iron Fit, and whenever you start something new, you're self-conscious, but after you do it enough, you don't care because you've been there. You've been there. You know the technique. You know what you're supposed to do. So yeah, I mean, that comes with time and experience.
Did we mention that this is a pre-recorded one?
No, it's pre-recorded, not live.
This is a pre-recorded podcast because today's Labor Day and we're not at work, so we thought we'd
Happy Labor Day.
And this is why I'm here because it's not on Monday, which is the one like good free day that Dr. King has. So
soon, yeah. Maybe get back to normal pretty soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Labor Day. If you're in Central Indiana, the weather's supposed to be really good. It's not enough coffee.
Is supposed to be really good.
Winter.
No,
it sounds like something somebody'd say where I grew up.
Today is also, the day we're recording this, August 30th, is Holden King's birthday.
Holden King's birthday, 17. Can't believe it.
If I was back there, I would probably bring up like a picture or something. I'm usually the one that's behind the camera doing all the stuff, recording and whatnot. So,
he is the third boy on the video, our promo video.
And guess what happened, guys? Mom and Dad, a.k.a. Richie King and Dr. King, forgot about the sticky buns.
Oh, I didn't forget.
It's a shame.
It was a miscommunication on our part.
Miscommunication?
Your mom wrote it down, and it wasn't clear who was responsible for what. So last night at 6 o'clock or 7, I said, "Hey, are we supposed to get sticky buns?"
More like a scheme to plot against Holden and his demise.
Holden was so upset. He was like, "You guys had one job."
I'm excited to give him my present tonight.
I was like, "Dude,
I guess he's. What are we doing? This will be aired by the time his birthday has come." So did I tell you about his present?
No.
I got him. I had no idea what to get him because last year I got him a God of War poster.
Oh yeah,
which is a game that came out last year. This is one of my favorite games of 2018. But this year I had no idea what to get him, and he's been super hardcore into running. If anybody knows him, he's like hardcore. Like he runs what? It's like 50 miles a week. Like it's unreal.
Yeah.
But I got him this breathing mask. Have you seen those?
Oh yeah.
So I got him.
It's like a Bane mask.
Yeah, no, it really is though. And I got him a breathing mask, and I thought it'd be cool because I know sometimes he's still working on like his pacing and his breathing, because that's like one of the two main parts of running. Right. And so, you put it on, like it has a strap and everything. It literally is like a Bane mask, but you can like switch the dials, so like you can switch how much air intake you have. And so, like, when he's running, like, he can have, like, low air intake, which will, like, train his lungs to
expand
do
more.
Something like that, yeah. So I know one of my friends, Rob, he used it because he went to boot camp. And so he used it before training or before then to train for it.
He said it helped?
Yeah, he said it helped a lot. So, I don't know, we'll see. It's $60, so you better freaking like it.
Better use it, darn it.
So.
Oh, my God, it's so funny. I think back to all the stuff that Holden has, training stuff, and we talked about, I think a couple podcasts ago, my high school reunion, and we watched the video. Yes. Part of the video was me running cross country, and how primitive things were. Basically, you just threw on some shoes and ran. There was nothing. Yeah. At least our coach. Our coach didn't have us do anything. We went to a smaller high school though. So, but there was a high school though that called Farragut. They won everything. They're like the Carmel of
Farragut.
It's Farragut. What?
Nothing. It was just funny.
That's what it's called. But anyway, yeah. Now I don't know if that's the case now, because since it was 30 years ago I was there, but they've opened up a new high school and split it up. Unlike what they've done here in Carmel. So
interesting.
Almost 5,000 kids go there now.
Carmel High School?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would never like to go there. Too many kids for high school.
I don't know how they do it. It must be just a machine.
Well, Bridget was telling me that she doesn't even go to parts of the school. Like, she has no idea what they look like. I mean, okay, hold on. She doesn't know what they look like, but she never goes to them ever.
Well, your mom's talked about it back when she graduated in '88. There were 800 kids. She goes, there are people I never even saw.
Yeah.
In my class.
I mean,
that's a lot of people.
That was 800. That was such a long time ago.
What was what's Garen's enrollment? 150, 200 class?
It's not a lot. Yeah, it's probably still around there. I think it might be slowly increasing, but I don't think it's. I think they're probably close to 1,000 kids there now.
Yeah, I thought Kelly said 800.
If not 1,000, just shy, because I think their enrollment's going up. But I could be completely wrong. I have no idea.
Completely right. I don't
know.
We can talk about Holden's birthday a little bit more. We got him a cookie cake, and we're going out to
Kodo
Hibachi. Calvin's excited.
Did they do it in front of you?
Yeah.
There?
Did I tell you last time I went to Hibachi what happened for Johnny's birthday?
No.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay. How this happened, I don't know. But I was tasked with taking Johnny and 6 or 7 of his buddies.
So what happens when you're a father.
So
get ready.
So anyway, I'm at the Hibachi, right? And we're all eating, having fun, all that stuff. And one of Johnny's buddies across the way, because it's a U-shaped table. So I'm sitting over here kind of keeping an eye on all the boys. And I look over, I'm like, what's wrong with the dude? And all of a sudden he goes and threw up at the table. And I go, oh my God, let's get. I was like, you okay? And he goes, and I go, let's go to the bathroom. So on the way to the bathroom, I'm behind him, and he unloaded. I'm like, oh my God.
He walked the guy to the bathroom?
The kid, yes.
Oh, it was a kid.
No, it was Johnny's friends.
Oh, I thought you meant they were just a random guy.
No. He was in our party. He was in our party. So he throws up at the table, and then on the way to the bathroom just unloads. I'm like, oh my word. And then the lady's coming. And then he's in the bathroom, and by the time we come out of the bathroom, they already had it cleaned up. So it must happen after or something.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, so she's like, you guys want dessert? I was like, nope. Let's just get out of here. So
I totally thought you meant there was just a random dude at another table. And he just threw up, and you're like,
not that much.
It's I know, Superman, I need to save you. I go over and grab him.
No, but
that's too funny.
It was hysterical. And then they forgot their phones in there, so I had to turn around and go back. And then when they went and got their phone, it was a mess. Good Lord. We got it done, though. Thank God.
I don't even remember half the birthdays that go on in the family.
There's lots of them.
I wasn't here for the Calvins this past one, but I'm trying to think of any other.
You had a good one.
You
got a new bike. Got that fat bike. You seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. What did Holden ask for his birthday?
Clothes and money.
Sounds better.
I can't believe he's 17. Good God.
Where is the time gone?
Year's gonna be 18.
He's gonna be going to college soon, big man.
He's so funny. I remember he's always had the best personality. He's it's funny because he has an inner confidence that's unusual.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, just he reminds me a lot of my brother. Insofar as could talk to anybody, could just So he's a good dude.
Good job, Holden. You made it to 17. Hopefully, you make it 17 more.
I'm sure. And his orange Jeep. I told him for his birthday what I was going to do is take him out, have him stand in front of the Jeep and close his eyes and open his eyes and go, here you go. Take him to Garen and say, close your eyes, here you go.
You should take him to Garen when he's a senior. This is what you should do. Take him to Garen when he's a senior, about to graduate, and he thinks he's getting a new car. Goes to the parking lot, and then he opens his eyes, and it's my Taurus, and he's like, "All right, take it to college."
That would be great.
I'm gonna be sitting behind it, and as soon as he opens his eyes, I'm just gonna slap a fat bow on it. Like, here you go.
The Taurus has been good to us. It's getting a little long in the tooth, shall we say? But
for backstory, my car is a 2004 Ford Taurus that we've had forever, and so. I mean, I drove it all throughout high school, and it was pretty solid. The only real issue that we've had with it so far was the transmission, where it was like borderline not drivable.
It wasn't drivable.
And what would happen?
It wasn't shifting or something, right?
Yeah. What would happen was that you'd press on the gas, and it would start just kind of idling / going super slow.
Yeah.
And then you'd press when you press on the gas from before, it would then catch up, and then it would be like you're hitting nitrous.
Right.
You hit it, you're going slow, and you hit it, and you'd be like, whoa! And it was so funny.
It's so funny because you guys had that car, which is a relative. When you got it in 2015, no, you graduated high school in 15, so you were.
I got it in 2013.
Yeah. It was a relatively new car. I mean, as these things go, I had 100,000 miles on it.
Relatively new.
Well, it's a lot newer than the thing that I had.
8 years old.
It was a lot newer than the car that I had. Anyway, point being, my first car, when it would break down, there was no taking it to the mechanic. You just fixed it.
Yeah, I know.
It was an older car.
Yeah, and then I recently had an issue with it where I think it had an oil leak or something, and I waited way too long to get it done.
The gasket bad.
The oil got everywhere in the car, and they had to clean it all off. Taurus is giving me problems.
Well, it is an old car.
Needless to say, I will be purchasing a car very soon.
Yeah, I bought that Taurus. You know the backstory of the Taurus, don't you?
Yeah.
So we bought that in Tennessee. At
Tennessee?
Ford dealership. Ted Russell Ford, I think.
Yep.
I needed a car, and the Toyota dealership was giving me the runaround. I was like, I gotta have a car because I'm driving home tonight. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a Toyota when I get older.
What kind of Toyota?
I don't know. I mean, when I was looking at them a few months ago, I wanted to get a RAV4, but not a RAV4, sorry, a CHR, but then I talked to Madeline about it. Madeline's my girlfriend. And she didn't really like the CHR. I don't know why. I think it was just because it was just a little too small. Well, not too small. I don't know. I don't know if she it was because the CHR is
It's 400's big enough, right?
It's a hybrid between like a hatchback and something else, but the 4Runner's too expensive. So, but
how much are they?
They're like 30 to 35,000 used ones, 30 to 35,000, and then the
Sequoia.
Then the RAV, yeah, I don't want that. And
why? It's Toyota.
I don't want the Sequoia.
Skip a step, Jack.
I hate the
Shake and bake family mobile. Why?
Sequoia, it's literally a ladybug driving down the side of the highway. It's like a ladybug.
I hate it too. I feel like I'm riding on marshmallows going up.
When I look at Sequoias like that when driving by, I kind of expect for their wings to open up and then just fly away.
Oh my God! It's funny you mentioned that because we drove the Camaro to Tennessee. For my reunion, and that thing drove so tight.
Yeah.
And then I drive the Sequoia, and I'm all over the road.
Well, the Sequoia, I really like the Taurus, and it'll be weird to adjust because
it'll be higher.
The Taurus, well, I mean, I don't know if I really care about that, but when you press on the acceleration, the Sequoia is very like what's the word?
responsive,
touchy, or like respond. Yeah, like it's very.
You have to get used to driving it.
Yeah. But the Taurus is like.
It's tighter. Like
it's
the brakes are tighter.
That's the word. Yeah, you just said
Because there's a few times when I started driving it, and you hit it after driving the Denali.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, you had to get used to driving.
Like it really stops. Like when you want to accelerate in the Sequoia, like you really have to, you kind of have to have like a hover foot.
It's so funny because I really liked your granddad's old Sequoia, and this one I'm like, it's okay. It's more comfortable. The seats are more comfortable than the Denali, but it's not near as tight. Yeah. The black Denali drove great.
Yeah.
For long trips, I mean, the seats weren't quite as comfortable, but man, it was a nice car. I thought about buying another one, but maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. New Camaro or the new Corvette came out recently, and I really want it. Unfortunately, I'm only, $40,000 short.
$40,000 short. I don't know how that's gonna go over. I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it up close and maybe drive it.
I mean, I told Madeline that once in my life I'll have to buy a sports car. I don't care what she says. I'm gonna come home with it.
Yeah. Okay. That ain't how it works.
Yes,
you don't just come home with a car.
What?
You can't just come home with a car.
Yes, I can.
Of course, my dad did that. My dad, in 1979, came home with a 280Z or 280Z, 2-seater. Dude has 4 kids. Oh, one.
Wait, hold on. Technical issue. I'm coming to the rescue.
Tech.
Hold on. Hold on, give me a sec. All right, we're good. Sorry about that, everybody. It's all solid.
Oh my God! Have you heard the Gaff Again joke? Did I play that for you?
Yes, you played that joke.
Okay. That's funny. He's hysterical.
Okay. Also, well, this made me think of it. When we had the last podcast, the second episode was with Stacy Swindler.
Very good podcast.
Very good podcast. She, if you don't know, she is here in Carmel. She is very popular in like the Instagram dog world. She has a Great Dane, a blue Great Dane named Iris, and
I think it's at Iris the Great Dane.
Yeah, at Iris the blue Great Dane. If you want to go follow her, she made the account because she had so many photos of Iris as a puppy, and so her Instagram account and the Instagram account ended up blowing up and getting like 20. She's now like 25,000 followers.
Right.
And she also has her own fitness account, which it has like I don't even know, like 5,000. It's somewhere in the thousands, but.
That's quite that much.
When she came on, and Stacy came on the podcast, and you played her that joke.
Not during the podcast.
No, not during the podcast. When it was before then, and like it's kind of like a cringe.
It's a
joke.
dark joke.
And so Stacy,
that's terrible. I was like, oh, sorry.
She was not expecting it, and it was so off guard and hilarious. She
set the tone of the podcast.
She was fantastic though. It was a great episode. If you haven't watched it yet, you should go watch it because they talk. You, Richie, Dr. King, and Stacy talk about job fatigue and kind of like where Stacy's from because she's from Canada and her moving down here. She's from Newfoundland and
Stacy. It's at Stacy with 2 eyes _fit.
Yeah, and so she's super into fitness, like I said. So she's had some injuries. So they talk about her injuries and stuff like that. So
one thing we didn't ask her was how she wound up down here.
Yeah, I know. There's another thing that we didn't ask. But I really wanted to. That I thought.
I mean, I assume that she, had something to do probably with her husband or something. But
right.
I never asked.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Because it's a long way to go.
It probably was because of her husband.
Did she say she worked in Toronto?
Yeah, she was a mental health
professional. PTSD.
Yeah, and
she had a lot of really cool things, really insightful things to say.
Yeah. And that was only the first guest, so I'm personally, I don't know about you, but I'm personally excited to get more guests on. I have a whiteboard in my office, so we have a whole list of guests that we want to eventually.
Joe's gonna sit down here and go, "Geez, Harrison, I got to put on some sunglasses when we come on your podcast."
God, I know it'll be fun. We have probably like 10 plus people we want to get on the podcast, and they're all people that we know, but they're just like super interesting people,
right?
And they have businesses, and
that'll be fun.
Yeah,
it'd be a lot of fun.
You want to have, to name a few, you want to have Joe on the podcast.
Joe Lazare from Joe's Butcher Shop.
Joe's Butcher Shop.
The best meat anywhere.
Yeah.
Best shrimp for sure.
Yeah. We want to have Tatum Perez, who has her own
TXT.
Yeah, who has her own fitness.
We train
business.
Emily and I train with Tatum 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, and then also Tom Faust, who does what?
Dr. Faust's husband.
Yeah, I know, but like, does he own a business? Or like, does he just?
I think he does. I think he does some consulting. I know he teaches at IU.
Okay.
Yeah, he does several things. I think.
So he'd be
hysterical. He'd be great on a podcast.
He's a talker and he's funny and he has a lot of stories. So he'd be good to have a podcast.
Yeah, we've chosen a lot of people that would be great. I had an idea. There's a girl that came across my feed on Facebook because I follow that What's Happening in Roane County.
Oh yeah.
And she must sell cosmetics or something. And I'm from the South. I've sort of lost my accent, but it still comes out occasionally. I've never heard somebody talk like this in my life.
What, Southern?
Oh my word! I can't hardly understand it. I'm not kidding.
Oh, let's say it so.
It's crazy. She's from
also,
East Kentucky.
You have not lost your Southern accent. It's definitely still there.
It's not there.
Yes, it is.
No, it ain't.
Richie King. We gotta go work on Tuesday.
Now there was a fella. It's a true story.
We gotta have a meeting on Thursday.
Thursday. You guys make fun of me.
That's what it sounds like.
What? Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday.
All the weekdays. That's what they sound like.
Well, how do you say it? How do you say it?
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. As you still say it. It's like Saturday.
Do you know Bert Kreischer, his wife, Leanne, is from, I want to say South Georgia.
Yeah.
Or Northern Georgia. Anyway. One day she was doing his podcast and they do the opening reads together, right? For Bert's podcast, the Bertcast. And he said, "Okay, Leanne, I want you to do this read in your native tongue." And I was cackling. It was so funny because she says that too, the days of the week. So yeah, she's like, "Come and sing."
When we went to Merrill Beach with Madeline, and she met Tiffany and all that the first time, she was just loving it because she had never met people with such like thick accents.
Oh, it's thick.
Yeah.
I was at my reunion recently. I've said this 1,000 times, talked about it, but I was surprised at how, and it's so dumb because when you live down there, you're around it all the time, you just don't notice it, and then you move away for a period of time, and you're around different, ways of people speaking, and then you go back and you go, holy smokes! Right. I guess that's the way that I was before I moved. I mean, it's not bad. It just made a point of interest is all.
That's horrific. No, the Southern people.
No. I tell you, now I don't remember. I think you were with us. We drove to. Where were we driving to? We were driving to. I think we were going. Remember when we went to Disneyland and stayed at the Wild Kingdom? I think it was on our way down for that in the white Suburban, and we stopped. Not in Alabama, but somewhere in South Georgia, and we were in there, and the kids went up to order a DQ somewhere, and the lady was talking to him. I remember Holden looking at me like, I don't understand what she's saying. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't remember that. But speaking of Disney World, they're coming out with like a bunch of new stuff, like an Avengers campus and like the Star Wars land.
Right.
And at the Star Wars land, I don't know if it's available yet, but like they're gonna have like a hotel where you can like stay in like a Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. The only problem is that it costs like $800 or $900 a night.
Jeez.
So like staying for like 3 days is like $2,000, even more, like 3. So if anybody would like to support my GoFundMe to go stay in the Star Destroyer at Disney World,
they milked that thing. So I tell you what,
I'll gladly take it. And what's interesting is that like the average family who usually goes to Disney World will not be able to afford that. So like people, I'll be surprised.
They finance those vacations. You can get a loan to go to Disney.
Yeah,
it costs so much.
I know.
That's a joke.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. When we were there, it was fun, but it was so crowded.
I would love to go.
Hot.
I would love to go towards the end of fall.
I've never seen so many rascals in all my life.
Like I would love to go in like October, like the beginning of October, or maybe the end of September, somewhere around there. And then buy Fast Pass. What?
Nothing good. I remember. Never.
Buy Fast Pass.
There was a lady when we went that one time. I'd never seen so many people on scooters. Riding around on scooters. Yeah. And there was this. You ever see something? You watch something unfolding. You go, this is not gonna. That's gonna happen. Yeah. There was a lady on one of those scooters. And it was like one of the bus, the trams, or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was doing something. And you could tell she was mad. Maybe who knows what was going on, but she was backing it up. It's like. And you could see, and there was like a railing. I was like, oh no, she doesn't see that railing, and then just tags her back on the railing. And I thought it's so interesting to watch those things unfold like that.
Last time we went, I think it was just there was a lot of people and it was stressful and
you can't. I mean, you literally have to have your kids
and Calvin
holding onto your kids at all
Calvin
times.
Was young and
How young was he? 2 maybe?
Yeah, he was young.
We were in high school?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I would like to go with Madeline. I know me and Madeline want to go.
Go like after school starts. I heard that's the time to go.
Yeah.
You go like in September, October.
Right.
Actually, we were there. I want to say your mom and I were there years ago. We were there in February for a conference in Orlando and went to Universal and Disney. And that's the time to go.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
Yeah.
But the weather's nice.
Yeah.
The Universal's still there, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's see what else we got. Calvin's whistling.
Oh, jeez, what's that?
He learned how to whistle.
He did?
So he walks around the house all night.
God.
He goes, Dad, do you know how to whistle? Yes, son, I know how to whistle. Do you know how I learned to whistle? Tell me. How did you learn how to whistle? I put my lips together and blew. Oh, okay. So now he whistles all the time. He loves to do backflips.
Yes, he does.
On the trampoline, he's getting really good. He goes, Dad, come out and watch me. I want to show you my tucked and untucked. I was like, okay. Can you do backflip? Oh, no. I can try, but I'd wind up in the hospital.
Do a front flip.
The last time I got on the trampoline with him, I jumped for like 2 minutes. My knees hurt for like a month.
Really?
The next day, it was like, this is not good.
I was never brave enough as a kid to try a backflip. Right, once I learned the front flip, that was fun. Yeah, front flip.
Holden doing the front flip or doing the flip off of. No, I think he did a backflip off the pool and tagged his head.
Oh yeah.
He comes out. I was like, oh, I saw it happen, and then I come over there and he's crying. He goes, I think I broke my brain.
There was one time where this was way long ago, like in 8th grade. In Trevor, we had the stump in the pool, and we moved it to the side of the pool where the table, like where the table is. And he went up to jump off of it into the pool, and the stump was so slick that when he tried to jump onto it, he slipped and then like knocked his head against the stump and then like fell in and like he I
don't remember that.
I know you were home. Nobody was home except me and Trevor and my friend, and he was like standing still there in the pool for a sec, like just like sitting there, and I jumped in to like get him.
Right.
And he got up and he was fine, like he was awake, but it was terrifying.
Yeah, those are. You always hate to see those fail videos because I mean, it had to hurt.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, don't recommend it. Don't get a stump for your pool. Just get a diving board.
Well, they didn't build it big enough.
It's
in the too
build
shallow.
your pool big enough and then get a diving board.
Well, we kind of inherited that pool, so.
Well, you can always make it a little bigger.
It's the best babysitter ever, though.
Yeah.
Your mom always talks about, I want to build a lazy river. I was like, lazy river?
That'd be awesome.
I was like, what?
I would love to get that. I would love to take out that hill and put it in an infinity pool.
What's an infinity pool?
It's like, it just like has like a glass wall and it just like spills over.
You ever see those on next to the sea, and you look out over the pool?
Yeah,
and
no, super expensive resorts. Yeah.
Pools are not cheap though. They're like $50,000-$60,000.
Alone?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's a sham. Those things aren't 60 grand.
I swear that's what I heard. That's how much they were. Now it's interesting because where I grew up, and it may have to do with the climate and everything. Excuse me. When I grew up, everybody that had a pool, they were all gunite pools, the concrete pools.
Oh,
see, like in California. I didn't know anybody had a liner pool, and then probably it must have been early 90s when you'd start to see liner pools.
Interesting.
But I think the liner pools are way cheaper to build. You just basically dig the hole, build the walls, and hang the liner. Because the gunite pools, you have to get in there and then put the mesh down and then spray the concrete on and all that crap.
Well, Kevin's parents, the ones that live right across from me, they have a concrete pool. Yeah. It was always suck because I'd get out when I was younger and I'd go over there to hang out. I would always get out of the pool and my feet would be like raw.
Oh, it's textured.
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't think of that.
It's terrible.
They have a nice pool though, because that nice cover keeps it clean. Cause you can when you just shut the cover and so no leaves or anything get in it.
Right.
So, but yeah, they have those pools now. Have you seen those? They're like hot tubs, but they're bigger. They're like, I don't think they're quite as wide as this room, but they're lap pools. And it shoots the water. You can set the whatever, and you just swim.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
You never swam for the swim team, did you?
Nope.
Why didn't you ever swim? You didn't want to do it?
No.
Like your mom, you like swim?
No.
Your granddad tells a funny story about your mom, and I want to say they were here. I don't think they're in Ireland, but he said that he took him to swim practice, and he goes, I never really let him quit because Emily goes down a lap, and then swims back, and then it's just bawling. She goes, I don't want to do this. He goes, all right, get out of the pool. So he didn't make her swim. So your mom never liked to do swimming or anything. Missy and Courtney did, though. The both swam.
Oh, yeah. Courtney loves swimming.
She swam at LSU for a while, and then Missy swam at Michigan. So we can swim anywhere.
Yeah.
So
we aren't swimmers. I played recently. I play basketball every Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
So, or not every Thursday. Sorry, every Tuesday. And the past few weeks, whenever I go and play basketball, it takes me like 3 days for my legs to like not be tired.
You're not used to doing it.
I know, but like,
and if you trained in between that, you wouldn't.
It's just for the past few weeks, though. I usually when we first it hasn't always been like this. So I don't know. It's exhausting. But
I went and worked out with Tatum on 2 Fridays ago, and the following Sunday, my back was hurting, and my left leg was weak.
The middle of her back was hurting after basketball.
It was weird. I told your mom about it. She's like, take some ibuprofen. Are you taking ibuprofen? Did you take Tylenol? It's like, no, dear.
Don't take the medicine. Let your body recover.
Why not? Anti-inflammatories are okay.
Yeah.
They help with pain and.
I had a bad run-in with ibuprofen, so I don't take it.
You did? Why?
It was just during my whole head thing.
Oh, that. Yeah, I remember. I forgot about that.
What did I forget?
Scans.
I was trying to think of what they called it.
Oh, that was just tension.
No, it was like
they were worried about meningitis.
Yeah. It was a form
that can kill you.
It was a form of meningitis, though.
Spinal?
No. Oh, dang it! I don't remember what it was. It wasn't like lethal or anything. But it was
meningitis can be lethal.
Well, yeah, but like it wasn't anything like that. It was basically like.
Meningitis, from what I've read, is no joke. Like,
yeah, I know.
I mean, if they don't get antibiotics in you, it's pretty much over.
When was that? When I was a sophomore in high school, I was, it was a few months before we were getting ready to for the summer, and that summer, me and Madeline were actually going to Geneva.
College?
Geneva.
No, we mean in college though. I think you said sophomore in high school.
What? Oh, did I say summer in high school?
I think so.
Oh, summer in college, college, sorry.
Right.
And me and Madeline were getting ready to go study abroad in Geneva, Switzerland. And a few months before that, my head really started hurting. Right. And I had no idea, and Madeline laughed at me. I hate it so much. She laughs at me because she's like, just because she's like it's like one of those things where I'll be like, yeah, my head was really hurting during that time. She'd be like, I know. I'll be like, you don't know. And so like every time she does that, and she doesn't understand, before those few months when we were supposed to leave, out of the blue, like my head just started really, really, really hurting. Like it was to the point where, like, I don't get migraines or anything like that. And I used to get headaches in college a lot. But recently they've been fine. The past few months they've been fine ever since actually starting here. They've been great. But when I was in college and during this time, I would get terrible headaches. But this was way worse than those headaches, because usually what I'd do is, well, now I know what to do. But when I would get those headaches, I'd get something to eat and eat some water, and then like I'd be okay. Like it'd still kind of be there, but I'd be okay. Right. These though, like I would need to turn off the lights and.
It was a migraine.
Like I could, but that's the thing though. Like it wasn't even a migraine. I just like my eyes were just so tired from like the lights for some reason.
You're light sensitive. That's what that is. I mean, Calvin gets that where if he's too tired or hasn't eaten or something, he goes, I've got a headache and I have to go downstairs. He goes to the basement, turns all the lights off, gets a wet washcloth, puts it over his eyes, lays down.
Yeah, no, I know.
He throws up. I was like, so go down and calm down. Right. So what I'll do usually is I'll give him some ibuprofen or something to help him. He's very sensitive to that stuff. And I was talking to your mom, I was like, I don't know what it is. Maybe the migraines. And I've heard migraines can cause nausea in people.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah.
So
it's usually fluorescent lights, usually these.
So, I mean, but it's no joke with him. And I've never, of all the kids, he's the first one, except for your experience. I mean, they've had an issue with those things.
No, yeah. I don't think it was light sensitivity. It might have been, but that might have contributed. But, like, I would just have to sit and, like, just lay on my bed, like, all day. Right. Like, I felt like I didn't feel productive at all. Like, I couldn't Like I can only
They're debilitating.
I could
some
only do
people.
homework for so long, and this was when I was streaming and doing YouTube videos.
Right.
I really wanted to like stream and play games, but I couldn't because I just couldn't like.
When did they go away? Did you do anything?
We went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I was really worried that like I had something like in my head, like there was like cancer.
Well, they wanted to take care of it before you went overseas because you just
right.
You
It's
can't
way
go down to the doctor.
That'd be difficult. And so when we went to get the CT scans, they were fine, like everything was fine, but they figured out that I had like some form of meningitis, and they said like there's really nothing like.
Antibiotics, I think, right?
Yeah, that's like pretty much it. So basically, I was taking ibuprofen and Excedrin. And I would usually take, like, I forget, like 2 ibuprofen and 1 Excedrin every day. And it got to the point where, when I was like a month into the Geneva trip, like they weren't working anymore.
Right.
And I was like, oh God, I was like, this is not good. And so I just told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop using them for like a day and see what happens in like a couple days. And the first day I stopped using it, it was absolutely terrible. Like I just laid in bed and like watched videos all day. And so, but funny enough, the day after, it was just completely gone. Like, completely gone.
That's weird.
And like ever since then, they have not come back in like a crazy form. And I don't know. I don't know why. I could not tell you why. But usually now I drink. Usually with headaches, usually either eating food or drinking water is more of the thing you should do. But yeah, drinking a lot of water is helps with headaches. I've learned, and it actually does help because I go through like usually like 2 of these a day, and then I also have like a pint, no, not a pint, maybe like a quart, like a quart of water or something like that.
Quart?
Yeah.
Like a 40?
Yes. Yes. It's like that. Remember that lemonade? Because there's a little lemonade bottle that you guys got when I first moved into my apartment in St. Louis, and I've been using that, and it's like maybe like this big.
Oh, like a reusable bottle.
Yeah, and it's like this big and like this wide. I don't know why that's so wide. But yeah.
A 40.
So if anybody's having headaches out there,
drink 2 liters of water and 140.
I seriously recommend that you do not take medicine. Like really though. I recommend that you don't do it. At least with stuff like the medicine that you take for the headaches, I would stop that, but other medicine is like I don't care.
Right.
Because I found out that because I stopped taking the medicine because I was curious if my head or my body became reliant on it, and so and it was half the reason because I ran out of Excedrin. So
well, I do think you can over medicate, and I think that sometimes your body will heal on its own. I remember listening to a guy, Eddie Izzard, comedian. He ran like 30 marathons in 30 days, basically a marathon a day.
Right.
And he talked about how he had trained a little bit before, but he said your body just gets used to it, which I find my body wouldn't get used to it. But but I think his broader point was that your body's adaptable, and I think there is some truth to that, and that sometimes there is, I think, in other contexts, the default is to medicate, and that's, in my opinion, just personally with myself, isn't always the best solution.
Right.
I've been to the doctor before and talked to him about things, and he's offered meds. I'm like, well, let me just try this thing first, and then see if that works.
No, it's serious though. Well, I mean, when I was one of the reasons why I stopped taking, because we tried looking for more medicine in Geneva, and it was Geneva, and like I couldn't find anything that would work. But
do they have the same brands or anything?
I tried looking because I had enough ibuprofen. I had a huge thing of ibuprofen, but I tried looking for Excedrin because that was like the main thing that like helped, and I couldn't find any of it. I couldn't find it. So, but that's funny you bring up like your drugs from or medicine from doctors, because when I got my wisdom teeth out, the wisdom, like my wisdom teeth were fine. Like I've heard of horror experiences.
Mine was okay too.
Like when Madeline,
the picture.
No,
you have a picture of her and she has like this beard bandage on.
Yes. Madeline's friend actually got hers out, and she had to like go back like 3 or 4 times because like the tissue was bad. Yeah, like the tissue kept falling, like something it kept getting infected or whatever. I don't know what it was. Yeah. But when I started taking the medicine, right? And the first like few days I took it, I didn't really feel it because I was just out of it. Like I didn't, But there's one day where I was like a week or so down the road, 2 weeks maybe, I started to feel like a lot better, and like I could like go out and like do stuff, and I didn't want to like lay in bed all day. And so I took one just because I was like, they were feeling a little weird. So I took what did they give me? Do you remember?
Probably Loratab or hydrocodone, probably.
So, yeah, probably. Yeah, that was it. And I took one, and I went out to go to Best Buy to get something. And
I think I remember this.
And, yeah, when I was out there,
like, whoa. I heard you came over. You're like, whoa. I should have done that. I was like, yeah, it says don't operate heavy machinery. A car is heavy machinery.
And so I don't like. I didn't. It didn't affect me before, so I was like, why would they affect me now? So I took it, and I was going to Best Buy, and I was like, kind of like. It wasn't to the point where I was like, whoa.
No, but you could feel it.
Well, I
you're impaired.
Right. And I like walked into the house after I got my stuff, and my footsteps like felt so heavy and loud. They were like, dude, and then you're like, everything like kind of was in slow motion. Yeah, right. You're like, hey. I was like,
you sure only took one?
Yes, I took one.
I had a buddy of mine once in college who broke his collarbone. They're playing football, and he broke his collarbone, and they gave him Loratab, I think. And you're supposed to eat with it. You're not supposed to take it by itself. So he takes it, and then like half an hour later, he's got a broken collarbone, and he's throwing his guts out.
Oh, yeah. No, Madeline, actually, she couldn't take her medicine.
Really?
Because she'd throw up from it. Even if she did eat something.
That's so interesting.
So she had to take. She only could take like ibuprofen and.
They're really cracking down on those opioids and those kinds of pain meds. I mean, it's something. They're coming out with new treatment, methods for pain and stuff that's going to be non-opioid. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. But they're effective. I mean, I think from what I've heard that
people that have gotten their wisdom teeth out, or people that have not gotten their wisdom teeth out, and their teeth are like fine because of it, are lucky. God, I hated those few weeks of my wisdom teeth out.
I've heard this is complete bro science.
So bad.
Complete bro science. But I swear that I read somewhere that the reason that people have to have their wisdom teeth out now so much is because our mouths are getting smaller because of our diets. Like millions of years ago, you needed those teeth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as an older person, because but as your mouth gets smaller, you don't need those teeth. That's why it causes all the overcrowding. So that's probably any dentist out there is going, not true. So that's probably what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that one.
They'll find like old remains of humans, and their diets are so different that their teeth were ground down to nothing. I mean, because they didn't eat soft foods. I mean, they ate foods that were they didn't have. I mean, they was cooked in things, but it wasn't like it is today. A lot of the foods were tougher. Because if you have sand or something like that mixed in with it on occasion.
Sure.
I mean, it's abrasive.
Seeing something like, speaking of like finding human remains, finding human remains and stuff like that.
Right.
Whenever I go to a zoo, the most interesting part is watching monkeys.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like when me and Madeline went to a zoo in Germany, I've never really looked. Like, I don't know, this sounds stupid, but I never really looked at like a monkey and like watched them do what they do.
Right.
And so they had this fantastic monkey exhibit, and I was just looking at them, and like they were like just like using their hands and stuff. And like it was so weird. I don't know what clicked.
I took a class in college. I've always been fascinated by this stuff, but I took a class in college, anthropology, human anthropology, and or maybe just anthropology 101. I can't remember, but it went back to millions of years to Lucy, to all of the basically Australopithecus and all the different lines of humanoids that came up. And what's interesting is that people say, we evolved from monkeys. And you're like, no, we evolved from a common ancestor.
Right.
It's like a tree going up, right? And you have a common ancestor down here that's along that tree trunk. And then they're not monkeys. What are they called? Not chimps. I can't think of the name. Anyway, apes branched off this way, and humans branched off this way. Yeah. So you have a common ancestor, yes. But we took two very different paths. But what's interesting is that I could swear I read somewhere that they said that we share 99% of our DNA with primates.
Yeah.
And their tool use, and this Joe Rogan said this, so again, bro science, said that they think that some people have hypothesized that primates are in the early Stone Age of their development. As we were back in the Stone Age, But I remember taking that class, and it was just brilliant because you would go, oh, okay, so brain capacity, and then the gift of speech, and then things you take you take for granted, like the sagittal crest you see on on dogs
Right.
is we used to have that because our diets were such that we had to have powerful jaws. Well, as that went away,
Right.
your head shape changes, and what else was I gonna say? The use of opposable thumbs. I mean,
Right.
it's the things you take for granted every day. You go without hands or without the gift of speech, which goes to your tongue, and without eyes like this to be able to have depth perception and see color. The reason the color is important is to see if fruit's ripe.
Right.
And depth perception allows you to hunt.
Right.
And then you're upright, so you're bipedal. What? I'm going to this long thing.
No, nothing. Keep going.
No, it's like this. You can. You're bipedal, so unlike say apes who they can walk, but their hips aren't designed to be able to do that.
Right.
You can cover longer distances, and the arches of your feet. That's a built-in shock absorber.
Huh.
And other dumb things. Your hair. What?
No, nothing.
Your hair allows for heat regulation
Right.
and sweat glands.
Right.
So whereas dogs, they have to pan. They can only cool themselves by panning or through the pads of their feet.
Right.
So we could do persistence hunting,
Right.
where basically you could chase an animal into exhaustion to where they'd basically fall over, just like wolves do. Like you'll see a wolf pack going after an elk, and there's like 5 or 6 wolves, right? Well, 2 of them are chasing down. They get tired, 2 more come in behind them, and you basically run the elk until they're exhausted, they fall over, and you take it. Well, that's what we used to do. That's what I read a book a few years ago called Born to Run, and they talked about that. The Tarahumara people in Mexico, or South America, might not be Mexico, but they were just ridiculously efficient runners. They could just go crazy distances. And he talks about the persistence hunting and how we evolved to be able to do that.
When you were talking about Joe Rogan and bro science, I just started thinking about Joe Rogan saying everything you said, and then like when you said Joe Rogan and bro science, I thought of that one. I don't know if you've seen the Office episode from The Office. There's a scene, but where Michael's sitting behind or in front of his whiteboard, and the camera pans up to the whiteboard, and it says, "Quote: You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." End quote. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. And I thought it was just like Joe Rogan, right?
No, it's funny though, because you look at that, it's things that, again, we take for granted today, but it sounds silly, but you look at, I've always been fascinated living in Indiana, or anywhere, I guess, for that matter. You'll see wildlife, you'll see deer or squirrels or hawks or whatever, and you think, they are in the worst of the worst with no house, no clothes, no anything. Mm-hmm. And you think about how we would fare as humans without the tools that we've developed. If someone said, "Oh, there's no more grocery stores, you have to go actually do this," it wouldn't be good, because we've gotten so far away from that. Not to say you should go back to it, but you've gotten so far away from that it's interesting. And something else I was listening to a Meat Eater podcast recently, and they were talking about the Clovis points and how that jump in human technology from a tool standpoint, the projectile weapons, and you think how, and kind of getting back to the wildlife thing, wolves and things like that, how without tools we don't have a whole lot. Right. I mean, it was our ability to communicate, form groups, and use tools to bridge that gap. We don't have big teeth. We're not terribly strong. We're really kind of soft, I think, as a species. I mean, a baby's born, they have to be literally taken care of for years before they're self-sufficient. Right. So it's interesting. That whole subject fascinates me.
No, it's cool. I'm interested in it too. There was speaking of going back to like that era. Did you see? This was like a month ago, but did you see that video of like NASA or whoever, or like finding out a few hours, or hold on,
but the asteroid that came through?
Yeah,
that
was crazy, because they didn't even know it was coming until like a few hours before, and it literally just missed like the Earth.
They called it a city killer. It wasn't that big, but it was big enough that they said it would have like taken out New York. Or something.
It was big. Yeah. Like
that's what's so fascinating to me. You read stories like that and you think things aren't near as secure as we thought they are.
No,
or,
like if you look at it, because there's a video out on Twitter or whatever.
It came like closer to the moon, right?
Yeah, that's what people were saying. Is that the moon or the Earth was orbiting the moon, right? And so the Earth,
the other way around.
The moon was orbiting the Earth,
right?
And it just it barely missed the Earth. Well, it didn't barely, because if it wasn't barely, we would have seen it. But it was close, close.
Well, I thought they saw it after the fact.
They saw it. They did see it. Well, no. They saw it. They didn't. They were doing what they do, and a few hours before, like an hour or two before it happened, they were like, "Holy crap! This thing's coming for us right now." And so it just missed the Earth, but it was way closer to the moon. So like I was thinking like, what imagine like if the moon just had like a chunk off of it.
Well, I saw a show once. They talked about how the moon actually formed, and what they theorized was that what happened was that there was a collision with something, which threw a bunch of debris into it still was within the orbit, the gravitational pull of the Earth, but then it kind of blew a part of the Earth away, and that became the moon.
Well, I mean, even if the asteroid did hit the moon, I don't know if it would have broken or not, because I don't know if the asteroid would have been big enough to like really take it out. It might have just been like the Earth, where like.
What do you mean?
Like what I'm saying is that the moon is smaller than the Earth.
Yeah.
Yes.
By a fair amount.
Yes, I know. I get that. What I'm saying though is that could it have been like the Earth? Like could it have been like the asteroid falling on the Earth, where if it falls on the what?
There's almost no atmosphere on the moon, so that's what burns it up is the air, the friction that the air causes because it's going so fast. That's what burns them up.
So if it landed on the moon, would it have just gone straight through the moon, or would it have just land had a rough landing and stay there?
Well, I mean, you look at the moon; it's full of craters. I mean, it gets hit all the time.
Right.
But it wouldn't. I mean, it would have stayed. I mean, it wasn't that big.
Okay.
The moon's big.
Well, I know.
So I mean, it's not as if it would. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head how big it is, but
well, I was just curious because I didn't know. Like, I don't know how big the asteroid was. I just saw it and like.
I thought they said it was like 500 feet or something.
But I was just curious if it was big enough to the point where if it like nicked it, like it would have just taken off like a chunk of it.
The moon?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that big.
Okay.
I think the one they said that hit. I don't know how to pronounce it. The one that hit the Yucatan Peninsula that they theorize is what took out the dinosaurs. I want to say that they said that was 6 miles wide.
Oh.
Although
God.
there's a competing hypothesis that I read about, a very long article. I forget the periodical it was in. But when you and Mom were in IKEA buying all that stuff for your apartment, I remember I stayed in the car.
Yeah.
And you guys were in there for forever,
okay,
like an hour.
Stuff for the apartment.
So anyway, it was this lady. There's been competing theories as to what happened, and I want to say in the late or early '80s, late '70s is when the whole meteor strike theory came about because of the iridium levels that they found all over the Earth. But another lady had hypothesized that it wasn't a sudden event; it was more of a gradual event based upon volcanoes. I want to say near the Indian Ocean, Ring of Fire, and how that spewed so much carbon dioxide into the air, into the atmosphere, that it created a relatively fast shift in climate, such that you didn't have the lush forests and things like that you had before. I forget the lady's name, but anyway.
Some would say that's happening now.
No, but it's interesting because you see, and the article was basically she was presenting her evidence and how she got shot down all the time. It's almost like a perpetual conflict in the academic community between this person or this theory where they say it's settled science or whatever, and this person over here that's like, you have to consider that. You have to consider this at least as a contributing factor. It was fascinating. I love that stuff. Thanks for watching this episode, third episode of Five Boys in a Business.
If you can catch all of the podcasts on all podcast services like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and you can also watch this podcast live every Monday from. We don't already have a set time.
No.
Usually, I notify the people on all the social medias before we do it, before we go live. But make sure to check out our merch on asvcmerch.com. We have long sleeve shirts and T-shirts. At least from what I've heard, we have some other merch coming. We have some stuff. We may have a fall collection in the works right now.
Fall collection.
We'll have to let you know.
Do a runway show.
And also, what was the other thing?
I don't know.
Oh, there's one more thing. Oh, check out the videos and whatnot that we do on if you're interested. If you like this podcast, we do lots of other video series like Dr. King Says and Day in the Life, which are both popular on our pages. So if you want to go check those out, you can.
Awesome.
Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.